Happy Friday, and it's another beautiful day. Your girl here, Isabel, and let's see, I don't know what is, well, let's see what is going on here. I got kicked out of the live at first, so I hope, okay, great. Hi, so I tried to get started and somehow I don't know, it looked like my video was frozen or just pausing. I don't know. Well, but anyways, here we are. Happy Friday. It's another beautiful day and I'm so excited to be doing another live session. And hi, the Divine Me. Hi, Sagra. How are you? Happy Friday. It's another beautiful day. So I'm so excited for today's live because I'm going to be having the beautiful Marie Fleming, who is also the founder of the Awake Revolution. And today we are going to be talking about soul contracts. And so I'm really excited. I'm just going to go ahead and invite Marie to join us. Okay, just get this going. Okay.
Hello. I am hitting buttons. Hello, I'm here.
Oh, it's always nice to see you.
I'm so excited about this conversation. I genuinely am, and to talk to you. And I hardly do Instagram lives and stuff because I'm usually on Facebook. So this is a fun thing and a joint one. I love it. I love it.
Yes, I know. I'm so excited too. And I did think, I'm like, oh my God, Marie's always like on Facebook and YouTube. So I totally understand that like with Instagram, it's something new. But I'm excited. I'm so happy that you said yes to this, that it resonated and you created the time, the space to just be here and share your beautiful magic with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, and I always love, I always love talking to you. So this time will probably fly by. We'll cover whatever we cover, right?
Yes. So for those that don't know, like Marie and I think we connected in 2000 or in 2020 through Millicent. Yeah, it's been quite a while. And Marie, Marie has really supported me on my journey, and it's just been so amazing working with her. And yeah, so once again, I'm excited to have her on. And Marie, if you can just like introduce yourself, and yeah, let's get started.
Hello, everyone. Hello. So I'm Marie Fleming Grant, founder of the Awake Revolution, and I say currently I'm describing myself as, because it changes, right? A transformations guide, mentor, and channel. So I channel the beautiful high Arcturian council and the high angelic realm. And I think a lot of people, especially with your community, you're going to be all cool with that. It's not so weird and out there for most of you joining. And even if it is, might channel through some perspectives as I go, and you'll feel the energies. And you can, I always say to people, even if it sounds a bit weird, just tune in and see what the energies feel like, and you can sort of discern for yourself, right? So I don't ever want to like try and convince anyone. It's like, I know it sounds weird sometimes, but that's me, and I'm very much here to help people all with the inner transformations. I love it. I live and breathe it, and I'm very much here, I feel, as you are, Izzy, as well, on a mission, right? So a lot of us feel that we're here on the planet with our own personal reasons, but also collectively we're here at really interesting times with everything going on. So I consider myself to be on a mission, and I'm very much here to guide anyone else who also feels this. So there's a lot to talk about. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. That is awesome. It's so interesting you said that your title changes. And I think I saw a post, something you shared on Facebook recently about what they were expecting you to write or call yourself. And I'm like, you like really, I also still struggle with finding the actual title. Like it's like having all these tools and this that you want to share with the world, and you can't even put a word to it, right? Like it's like if you try to define yourself, like you're placing yourself in this box, right? And yet we keep evolving, and more gifts come online, and more we get to, so it's just like, yeah, it's like evolution.
Evolution,
We just
yeah.
keep
Yeah, and
evolving.
expansive souls, we don't like being boxed in. So it's really hard if you're doing this
No.
to pick a label. So I always just throw that in because I've been calling myself this for a while, but I'm aware that like all of a sudden it doesn't fit, right? And we evolve into the next version of our work or our mission or what it is we're creating. So yeah, it's kind of
Mhm.
funny, really. We don't have to take it all so seriously, I suppose, do we? Labeling, yeah.
And well, with the labels, well, that's the thing about art. And it's so interesting that our souls reincarnated here knowing that we're coming to a planet that has all this, you know, like language, and we're defined by all these things, and yet we're more than that. We're not like, you know what I mean? It's like, no, I'm not just Isabel, you're not just Marie, like we are more than what society thinks we are, or what our name is, or what professions we do. Like, it's just, yeah, where there's more to that, but then we chose to reincarnate here knowing these are some of the things that we're going to experience being on earth, and it's also exciting.
It is. And also I think more of us now, and what my guides have been sharing with me as well, there are more of us now on the planet that we're more aware of ourselves as, and this is going to tie into what we're going to talk about, right? We're more aware of ourselves as being these souls who've not just had this one lifetime, and also not just had one past life, because that's sometimes what people tap into. We have had many. It would blow our minds, and there's a reason why we don't remember, because it's too much. But we've had so many, right? As we know, we've had so many past lives, incarnations in all different places. So we have our reasons for choosing, like, the part of the world we were born into, the culture, the family, the body that we chose, all of these things. And there's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of meaning, right? There's a lot of like meaning in all the madness that happens here,
Yeah.
more than we can feel, sometimes. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it's so interesting you said that, like, even when in regards to like the culture where we're born, and it's just like there's so much to learn from wherever like we're born, right? Even the bodies in which we're in. And speaking of bodies, something that I've learned is so many times we take our bodies for granted, and we forget that these bodies are hosting our beautiful divine vessel, like soul. The bodies are a vessel, and without them, like we wouldn't exist. The only way we had to come as a soul into earth was to take form in this shape, in this body, in this color, like the skin. It's like we're wearing this beautiful suit, and it's just like we need to appreciate and connect more with our bodies and be thankful that, oh my God, like my body is hosting my divine soul. Like that's even very
Yeah.
powerful. Like really, so for everyone listening in, like I really want you to appreciate your body, like just appreciate who you are truly, like the flesh that it's, and taking good care of our vessel too is very, very important, because it's hosting our beautiful soul that has all these memories, the DNA, like from different lifetimes. So it's just
Yeah,
magical.
it is, and I totally agree with all of that. And another thing that's coming through is just tapping into this for a moment. And if you're feeling, for anyone watching, and I include myself in this, if you're feeling right now really super tired or really weird, there's just a little guidance coming through, right? Because it's pretty potent energies at the moment. I'm not an astrologist or anything, but there's a lot going on. But the energy field is strong. So I'm definitely feeling it this week. So just a little guidance there for any of you that are feeling really weird, or just like what's happening is we're having a lot of light codes are coming through our bodies, through the planet. And so if you think about our amazing human vessel, poor body, right? It has to hold not only our souls that have traveled all around and have extensive knowledge and wisdom. This body has to hold all of these like upgrades and new light coming in, and a lot of us are really shifting in cellular, like our cellular bodies. So just a little kind of shout out to anyone that's feeling like, what is wrong with me right now? Am I crazy? You're not crazy. And what's happening is we're shedding a lot of old patterns and ways of being. You might be having weird dreams. I definitely have this week. There's just a lot happening. So and if you're not feeling this as well, that's okay, because you might have moments where you do and you don't. But I just wanted to throw that in there because I feel like it's really potent this week as we're recording. So it's like all sorts of things.
Yeah, it's so true. Actually, for me, last week was I was just like done, like so exhausted, like, oh my God. I was like, I've never felt this way. And my partner was like, Isabel, what is going on? My wife was like, you seem to be so, I was like, yeah, I know, I don't know why, but I just feel so exhausted. Well, now I know, I knew why, but it was just the entire week, low on energy, just like wanting to sleep. I was called to rest a lot, which is definitely important. And like I listened, I was like, okay, if I'm feeling called to take a nap, like rest, I should do it because of all the light and everything that is coming in. And you mentioned that shedding, there's a lot of shedding that we are doing right now. And our bodies are just adjusting to not only just releasing the old, like peeling those layers, but also the frequencies that are coming in. And that's quite a lot. It's like, bang, we're being hit with this strong energy and trying to adjust. And so for me also, something I want to share is this week last week I was called to fast, and this week again. So I'm now at 52 hours of fasting. Oh, and I thought I was going to do, 72, but I feel called to do more. I just feel like I'm in a place where I just feel called to keep preparing my vessel to kind of support me in what I'm receiving, so that like I'm lighter in general to get that download, to get that information and be able to transmit that energy.
Yeah, that's why we're having, if you've noticed, like your preferences and your tastes are changed. Like I've noticed that in the last, say, 2 years. Things I used to love, like chocolate or stuff that I would have gone for, it just tastes different now, and it just feels like the body's, I might think I would like chocolate and wine because I still do sometimes. My body says we just can't. I tried to drink a glass of wine, I think last week. I'm not a big drinker at all, and I had a glass of wine, had a few sips. I thought, yeah, I'll kind of be up for that. But my crown and my head was having none of it. And my body was like, nope, we cannot. So I had to follow that. I was like, that's interesting. So we're having all these like shifts, but this leads us on to actually what we're probably going to get into is the relationship side, right, of people. And a lot of us are feeling, well, I know the last, say, 3 years, a lot of people have been kind of moving away from friendship circles, being attracted to different new people. Maybe intimate relationships are feeling quite tricky, depending on where you are with that. Lots of different shifts, right, and challenges are coming up. So it's probably really timely that we talk about soul contracts, because sometimes it makes sense of why are things so difficult, or why is that person giving me so much grief? You know, we've all got some kind of something coming up, because there's so much shifting happening, but it's so good to have a higher perspective on it, so you can just breathe and trust it.
And so in regards to soul contracts, like to the listeners, what do you want to share? Because like you mentioned, like relationships, and I'm sure most people have been through relationships that haven't been healthy for them, and maybe trying to understand, like, why did I get myself into this relationship? What is the end goal for me? What lessons am I trying to learn from this relationship? Most people do not even have that awareness that, okay, you are in this relationship, because as much as it may be a challenge, there's growth that is coming out of that experience. I find that people yeah, it's kind of tricky because they'll get into like, oh my God, like why me, you know, like everything. And it's like, if you just pause and connect with your soul, you have the answers. Like the answers are
Yeah.
there. You know, it is all
Yeah.
within, like trying to find everything external, but the thing is you just gotta go within
Yeah.
and receive the answers.
Yeah, totally. So it's the I guess the first thing to say when we're talking about this is when you're hearing like any conversations like this is to just kind of, I would say, like almost like lean back and hold all of this lightly, because sometimes as humans we get very caught in the this way or this way. So what we kind of want to share is that we come into this world with very much free will. So that's really important to know. So we don't come in with everything like you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. We come in with total free will, so we get to shift. And often as souls we come in and we change our mind about some of the things we planned. That's free will, that's okay. So we always come in as a creator and we get to choose and decide and shift. But there are also aspects of our soul blueprint that has very specific things on there. Imagine like a map, and you've got some things written on there, printed on. So we've got these things that maybe it's our mission, whether we're going to have a family or not, you know, what gifts we're going to step into, and definitely which people are we going to cross paths with. And that's one of the most important pieces being on the earth, because of course we're all here as humans, and whatever the quotes on the internet say, we are built for connection. Right? Like I go alone and I'm okay. It's like, yes, we are all okay on our own, we are all independent, but we are also very much here to connect. So we're wired for relationships, connections, and all of that juicy stuff, right? So the way to, I guess the way I see soul contracts, and the way I'm sort of taught on that as well, is that we have these significant souls that we have connected with many times before. So we've got like, imagine like soul clusters. We all have like a soul team, I like to kind of call it, where we've had lots of people that we've had different lifetimes with, and we play different roles with each other. So imagine like when you watch movies, you always see those handful of actors that just keep showing up in all the same movies together, right? They just do it all together, right? So like, you know, you just see these same people, and that's what we're doing. We're showing up in all these lifetimes, these groups of souls, and there can be many, they can be scattered all over the world, right? So what we do is we say, before we drop into this, and the most important thing to remember is we make these choices from a soul level. So that's why it doesn't always make sense. Why would I contract to meet somebody who's going to treat me awful, terrible? It doesn't make sense on a human level. But on a soul level, when we're not in this body, what we're doing is we're saying, we've had these lifetimes here, we've grown in this area, I really feel I want to go and have this lifetime, let's say patience, right? This soul says, I really want to learn patience. It comes off the back of the previous lifetime. So how can I do that? Okay, I want to go into this lifetime. It's going to really serve me. I'm just making this up. It's going to really serve me to connect with someone who's going to give me a reason to be patient, because we don't just drop in and be it. So let's say you're in your soul group, there's another lovely soul that you've had other incarnations with, and they've said, oh, well, you know what, I really want to balance out a situation where I want to understand what it feels like to be in a body that's maybe doesn't know how to control itself as much, or it's maybe not as conscious. Maybe it's a very advanced soul, and the advanced soul says, I want to see how it feels to drop into the human form and not really be aware, and just see what that feels like. It makes sense to the soul. So then these two souls say, I tell you what, why don't we go in to this crazy earth place with all the crap that happens there, and why don't we play out this dynamic? Yeah, okay, why don't we connect as brother and sister, or why don't we connect as a really powerful relationship that we're really magnetized to each other, whatever, or drop in as mother and daughter, right? Whatever. So these two souls with so much love say, okay, let's do it. So they make a contract with each other, and then they drop in. And then once we're in the earth plane, in the human body, we can, you know, there are times when we maybe back out of the contract. We just free will, remember, we're just guided over here. But mainly mainly we do tend to stick to those deep contracts because they're so deep in the soul. Our souls will guide us. So when we collide, and often I think we all have this experience of, you know, when you meet someone and you just feel like you know them, right? It could be you love them, or you could be like you really don't like them. So no logic. We feel it. We recognize. We've all had soul recognition. You had that.
Yeah. I totally agree with soul recognition. When I met my partner, we met in 2015, and we met, you know, we met through online dating and up Plenty of Fish. And as soon as I saw her, like, and hugged, I just like, I was like, oh my God, I hugged her. She found this so strange because no one had ever hugged her for that long. And I hugged her, and I had this feeling of like, oh my God, I found you. Like, I found you. And Ben, my soul knew. I knew her. Like, she hadn't yet come to that awareness that we you know, we knew each other. But like the moment I hugged her, I was like, oh, here you are. Found you in this lifetime. And it's so interesting because I was born and raised in Uganda. She was born in Canada. Then at 3 months old, she moved to Italy. So we came from different places, and here we are meeting and connecting. So our souls had this contract, this agreement. So I think sometimes people refer that to as, you know, what is it? What they sometimes think is love at first sight, kind of, but also something else where it's like, oh, it's more than that, that it's soul recognition. And I also think, like, even with just relationships, like even with you, like, sometimes like I'm just like, oh, Marie, like I signed up to, you know, meet her and connect with her and have her support me on this journey on earth at this, like, during this time. So I really, really appreciate that. And each time I connect with people now, I'm always reflecting on that on a soul level, like, oh my, yeah, you and I are here connecting, your soul and mine. I'm not just seeing you as this person in this, you know, but I'm just seeing you as a soul and appreciating that.
And that I think on those two pieces, like, let's think like relationships and those of us like in spiritual business or service-based businesses, sometimes we get really hung up in both those areas, like, when are we going to meet the one, when are we going to meet the love of my life, or when am I going to get that client, or, you know. And if we just relax and know that, and I'm a real believer in this because personally and professionally I've experienced both, same as you, right? It's like, if you relax and you already know, you just tap into the remembrance, you've got contracts with people you haven't met yet. So if those soul contracts are in place, you don't have to worry about if it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, like how it's going to happen, because it's just going to, it's like magic. Like me, same as you and your partner, me and my husband, we met, like he was born in Ireland, I was born in the UK. We're 14 years apart. He traveled all around the world. Like, I had a whole different, like, being in one place, having my daughter really young, like, we're completely different, crazy lives, like nothing similarity at all. Like, there were 1,000 reasons why we could never meet, and yet we did. And how do we meet? On a Facebook friend request. So a little nudge to anyone that's still trying to connect. You never know, right? It just like, I couldn't have made that happen, or like try to manifest it, or try to like pull it in. It's like it was always going to happen. So soul contracts have that kind of power where you're going to cross paths with, and this is like business or opportunities, you'll cross paths with that person that's going to help you in your company, or, you know, with your product or whatever the thing that you're creating or doing. And it's a good one to remember, because you can just take the pressure off, right? You can just go, okay, my clients are already, like, I know my clients are whoever I'm going to end up working with, they're going to find me at the exact right time, you know. I don't have to worry about that. I just have to show up and do my bit, and then everything else happens. So there's a magic. I love.
It is. So I have a question, and this is a little bit sensitive, you know, because I've also experienced it. So I just want to know if this, your beautiful team can channel something about this, and that's like miscarriages. And I've experienced one, my partner has experienced one, and I'm sure there's so many beautiful ladies out there that have experienced this as well. though they may not necessarily talk about it. So what happens in a situation, in that case where there's a miscarriage, like with the soul,
Yeah.
both the.
Okay, yeah, that's a really good, powerful one. So I'm going to channel through on that so they can share the highest capacity because it's a sensitive one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, and this is the high angelic realm, that they're very healing, as many of you know. They're very beautiful, highest love. It's the most amazing energy. So we want to share with you that, first of all, any of you who have experienced this know that all is well on a soul level. And so there are many reasons as to why this occurs. So first, I just want to reminding you that when you came onto the earth plane, you've really come to experience a very human experience. And so it was never about dropping into the earth plane and having everything go exactly the way that many humans would want. We have come onto this earth plane to really experience many different human emotions and open our hearts and feel like we've never felt when we're outside of this earth plane. So we want to share a few perspectives as to the reasons why a miscarriage can happen. So the first thing we wish to share with you is that when we talk about the soul entering the human body, the soul will only enter the human body once that human has been born. And so it is a question of when this happens. Prior to this, it is the loss of the physical form. And so we wish to, first of all, just alleviate any concerns around what happens to the soul of the baby that you are carrying, because souls will always, it does not serve the soul to drop in at a very early stage, because souls are expansive and they're still moving around the astral plane and other places. So they are not present in that physical form. So they just want to, first of all, just give some lightness around. There is no concern on the soul level around when a miscarriage happens. The second part of that is often, there are many different reasons, but it's often some form of experience or teaching or learning. And it is never a punishment. It is never related to anything that one may felt that they have done wrong in any shape or form. So again, it's inviting anyone that's tuning in at any point to release any of the guilt, any of the blame, any energy around could you have done it differently. And so we want to remind you that there is a divine timing with all things. And so this is going to be one of those experiences that would have been very likely to have occurred. So yeah, they're bringing us back to when we have the free will, but we also have these aspects in our soul blueprint that are very likely to happen because it's important for the soul growth. So we also wish to surround you with so much love on this subject, because we know that that has caused much pain and heartache for those involved. But we also wish to remind you that yes, there is much learning and growth. Much of this is to do with opening your heart chakras, having experiences that make sense to you on a soul level, because these relate to other experiences that you may have had before. And this is why sometimes you are experiencing certain things in this lifetime. And so there is never any blame. There is never any anything that you could have done or should have done. And often if there was a plan for a soul to come through and it did not happen in that cycle, that soul will come through in another form. And so you do not lose the connection. Okay, so and they're saying it's a big expansive topic because there is a lot more to share, because it will depend on very specific situations, but they're just going a bit kind of broad for this, just so we can sort of tap into some understandings. But the main thing they want to emphasize is to release any guilt or shame or blaming yourself, because that is almost, it's irrelevant. Yeah, it's an experience, one that will make much sense to you later, sometimes in this life and sometimes later. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
it's a good example of, even though we might have those higher perspectives, which are really useful, we still got to feel the human side of that, right? And
Yeah.
that's okay.
It's
And really,
yeah.
there'll be healing on that, and time, and an adjustment. You know, we don't just go, oh, now I understand, I'm fine. And it's like, no, you.
Mhm.
And I always feel like you can hold both perspectives. You can hold some higher perspectives to help you understand this difficult challenge, and then you can also be in your human and really feel it at the same time. So just sending you love if this relates to any of you. Yeah, that's a difficult challenge, right? Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. It's, yeah, and like you said, it may not be something to be understood in this lifetime, but
Yeah.
maybe in another lifetime. So I think for me personally, I kind of had that idea. I mean, I also read a couple of books just to like really get to know more about what happens and what's going on. But thank you so much for sharing that, because there may be people listening or even watching the
Yeah.
replay that may have had those experiences, and I'm glad you shared that, so it can support them in bringing some form of healing and maybe understanding or closure, or just something. So thank you.
No,
That was really,
yeah.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
really good. It's sensitive, but
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm glad you asked it, because yeah, it's kind of one of those ones that may be difficult to ask, or sometimes people don't know how to even ask that question, but it's sort of lingering. They kind of want to know, but
yeah.
sometimes we don't know how to ask. So that's brilliant. I love that you know, you can ask me anything. That's fine. If we don't know, we'll say we don't know. Yeah, but it's, yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, women also put so much blame on themselves. So it's good you kind of put out that message so that they know it's not like you're not to blame. And it's also not a punishment. It's not like the universe or God is punishing you, like really on a soul level. And coming back to that, like I think it's very important for us to, in general, to really try and drop down into our bodies and really connect with our soul, because I feel like there's just so many distractions, especially now.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that people don't create time and the space to just be like connect. Because the more you do that, the more you start realizing that you are one, and you start listening. It's like developing that relationship with yourself.
Definitely, yeah. I think that's the number one
So,
thing. Even if you don't know where to start on that, like a lot of people do have routines and rituals and things, but even just like 10 minutes, just to kind of close your eyes, block out everything, you will be surprised what little things come through that silence, because your soul is incredibly
oh
powerful. Your
yes.
soul, you as a soul, already here. You don't have to like do anything fancy to activate your soul. You're here. So yeah, just 10 minutes, even if the busier you are, the more you need to do that, right? Of just
Yeah.
connecting. And yeah, because you get all the answers inside of you, but it's our head that's very crowded. You know, we've got all these like ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where we blame ourselves or criticize ourselves, and if you drop down, what does my soul feel about this? What does my soul know about this? You'll get a very different kind of answer. Or some of you will find journaling, write out,
Yeah.
soul, what do I need to know today? That's a good question. And because I know I have a few people that I know that just find it easier to write it and answer it. As some people just like to sit and let it come through. But writing's really fun,
Yeah.
because all sorts of things come through. It bypasses the conscious mind, right? In the journal, and it's like,
Yeah.
I did not know this. And there it
Just
is.
like let it out. It's like just let the pen flow, right? Get into that state of let me just flow and let it
Yeah.
out. So that's definitely beautiful. Like for me, I'm doing, like, of course, meditation works for me. It's through meditation that I get that. And I actually yesterday I recorded an activation to support people in really connecting with the soul. So
Brilliant.
I will be sharing that. And because it's like, if we had more people do that, like, it would be much smoother. The experience on earth would come with more ease
Definitely. Yeah.
if we all got into our hearts. so all this suffering and everything, and just realizing I'm not these thoughts, I'm not those emotions, I'm not all those things, and all the poopy thoughts that go in our head. But what, like, it's just like shutting off all that, and it's like, who are you?
Yes.
Like the soul,
Yeah. And
So I'll be sharing that activation. I recorded it yesterday. I was like, oh, you know what? Let me get it set, and I'll share it. And if anyone is interested, you can send me a DM. I will be sending it out, or I'll also share it on my Instagram.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
And then, yeah. So is there anything else that you feel like would come through, or anything else that you think could be supportive at this time in regards to like the soul contracts for people, like with everything going on?
Yeah, what's coming through really is, I guess, just touching on this piece of relationships. That's the juicy one, right? That we either we could be in a challenging relationship, or we could have had a challenging relationship in the past. Many of us have had real kind of really challenging ones, or even, this applies even if you're in a relationship that's good and you have challenging moments, because we all do, right, at points. So one of the things to remember is, let's just see which way we want to go, because it's a big subject. Let's just see, hold on. Yeah, so we want to talk briefly about challenging relationships. So let's talk about, ones that you would term as abusive relationships, really difficult, ones that have really impacted you. You could be in them now, or you might have had one in the past. So for me, I'm in a very happy marriage now, but I had a very, very challenging 10 years in a very toxic thing, abusive and all of the rest of it. So we want to share with you then, because sometimes they're saying souls will question, why did I choose to enter that? Like we learn and grow, and we have these soul growth, but sometimes it's hard to understand why. Like a lot of the resistance is, why would I have chosen that? They really hurt me. I'm still healing from it, or it took me a long time to heal from it. What sense is that? So I want to just share with you, we want to share with you the perspective that, again, it doesn't always make sense on the soul level, but sometimes your soul will guide you into a situation that when you look back at it later, you may wonder why you did that. You may question your own ability, because a lot of people think that if you follow your soul's guidance, it means that you will have, like, life will be like this, and some fairy lights like that, right? But actually, that's like a real misleading thing, right? We know that, right, Izzy? It's like, not how it works at all.
It's definitely not.
Following your soul isn't this like free pass that says you have this wonderful life that's like nothing happens, because that's not why we're here. So it's really helpful to know that sometimes, and I understood this with my own experience as well, it's like, that makes sense. Sometimes our soul will guide us into something that the relationship, the circumstance will actually cause some pain, challenge, suffering, difficulty. It's because the soul came in and it said, remember what we said earlier, like, I want to learn patience, or I really want to learn compassion, or a lot of the times, like, I really want to learn how to stand up for myself and be in my sovereignty and my power. So in order to do that, we have to have these situations that are like the catalyst for us to do that very thing. That's why a lot of us are born into, a lot of starseed empathic people are born into very difficult families, right? Because we learn through opposite. Unfortunately, I don't know why we do, but we do. We always learn through opposite. So, sensitive soul will be born into probably most likely a family that is very different to them. So our souls are guiding us. So sometimes when you have that attraction, that pull towards someone in a relationship, and maybe you really thought this was it, this was the person of your life, right? Your soulmate. They probably are your soulmate. Soulmates don't mean happily ever after. They can, and they include that, but soulmates often can come in all shapes and sizes. So sometimes that soulmate, it's hard for the human mind to understand this, but sometimes that soulmate comes in the form of the person that caused you a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. So we just wanted to share that perspective for those of you who are conscious and aware, but you might still be scratching your head going, but why did I let myself connect to this? So now I can't trust myself and now I'm going to turn off that connection. And the guidance is, don't do that. Switch that guidance back on. Trust yourself, because you are always guiding, your soul's guiding you into things that may not make sense, but there's a soul reason. But equally, the other message that wants to come in is, know that it does not mean that you have to stay in situations or in relationships that are causing you much unhappiness, because for some of you, your sole reasons for connecting was so that you can experience it and make a different decision this time. Perhaps in a previous lifetime, you didn't make that decision, and so your soul really wanted to experience. I had that in a beautiful session with someone. We did like a past life regression, and there was a thing around relationships that came up, and the soul, when they finished that lifetime, felt like they really wanted to come in and learn something around that. And the soul had a really clear plan. We literally tapped into the soul speaking in a session. It was amazing. And the soul was sharing that we want to choose a really, really big challenge. So when she heard that in this lifetime, she realized, I didn't screw up, I didn't mess up, I was supposed to have this challenge, I'm in this challenge, it was really, really like divinely planned for me. So that was it helped her feel at ease with it, because it was like, oh, I was absolutely supposed to be here, so I haven't screwed up this life. But the next thing for her is, okay, so how do you want to respond? How do you want to hold yourself? What decisions do you want to make? And all of that stuff. So the plan's still continuing for her, and she's got free will. All right, so we just want to sort of shine a light on that, because that's a big one. Sometimes people, when they've been burned in a relationship, or they've had a very, really tough challenge, sometimes they close their hearts. They start to believe that, oh, this is relationships and this is me and I don't want to be hurt again. And actually, if you can open your heart and know that if you've learned what you've learned from that relationship, that means the next time you're in one, you can have a very different experience. But if you close off, you stop that from happening. So it's just sharing a few perspectives. So again, it's just breathing some light into this, lifting some of this weight off some of your shoulders, getting you to breathe right now if you need to. Just know that you're doing well, like it's okay. And they also want to remind you that you're divinely guided, and you can call on your angels, your team, whoever you connect with, whatever makes sense to you, but you all have angels, most definitely. And ask for support if you don't know. Ask for guidance, and you'll get the messages. And you know, like it's okay. You're stronger than you realize. You know.
That's wow, that's very powerful. That's really, really powerful. And or even that session you had with the lady, that's like wow. I'm glad she had that realization after. And you did mention, of course, about guides. I know, but I'm just asking for if anyone is listening, because we all have guides with us. However, again, when we reincarnate in this lifetime, we may choose not to see them. We may, choose to disconnect. If there's anything you can share about that, because they're there for sure. Like they're there, but of course, not everyone gets to see them. Not everyone gets to, feel them, and sometimes people may have doubts. So if there's anything you can share, just to like really confirm and inspire people to have that trust that I'm totally guided.
Yeah, okay, I love that subject. Okay, so first thing I want to share is, if you're listening to this and you feel no resonance with connecting to your guides or any of that, release that, and that is okay, because again, not everyone has come to this lifetime to walk that path. So if you're hearing that, you can release that. Let's just enjoy the conversation. For those of you, however, who feel this and who feel like almost like if you're listening to, say, our conversation, and you have this thing of, oh, I wish I could channel. Like if you I just did a bit of channeling. If any of you feel like, I wish I could channel, because that's how I felt. When I saw Melissa, right, Melissa Bates, when I saw her channel, and I only opened the channel up 2021, right? It feels like I've been doing it my whole life, but officially 2020. So when I watched her, I thought, I wish I could do that, and I always felt like a bit disappointed, like, because I was supposed to. It was absolutely here for me. So for those of you who feel a bit like, oh, I wish I could channel, or I wish I could connect with my guides, that means 100%. Then you're absolutely here to do that. So everyone can channel in different ways. There's all different like ways that we do it. Everyone can connect to their guides. It is not just for psychics or specially chosen people or anything like that. We're all connected to God, divine source, universe, so we all have the ability. The thing that switched it off is the programming on this planet. That's the only thing. If you were born into this world knowing that we all do it, you would be doing it now. So it's just a little, we're just dropping in a little magical seed for any of you who will feel this, and you might even feel a bit of excitement and a bit of like butterflies. This is a message for you. So that, yeah, so all you've got to do, the saying is just open that door for yourself. You can get advice and guidance as well, but initially just open the door. You can start to set your intention, because remember, you are powerful. You are so powerful. So you've got to set your intention just to say, I now set my intention that I would like to connect with my guides. So you can do this, just state it right now. You can do it in your meditations, however you feel, and just, it's almost like you're just opening the door up here and you're going to allow it. Because then what will happen is you will have like, what happens when you do that, you have a little nudge, like it might be this conversation that triggers it for some of it. It might be you see a book or a video or a message or someone talking about this thing or this thing. You will start to, it's like follow the breadcrumbs. You will start, because they've been guiding you all along. It's such a magical journey. I wrote about that in my book actually, because there was this whole kind of like, it was like nudging and guiding me up to what I do now, right? And it was like I saw this video, and then I found this person, and then I felt this, and then it was like a sequence of events, right? So the main thing is like to know that if you feel like you want to do that, then you absolutely can, because you already have the ability. It's just sometimes you might need, a lot of us need like sometimes we need a soul activation to kind of bring you, and it's like bringing you online. It's like activating, because what it is, it's light codes that are already inside of you because you came in with them. So you need some help, maybe some of you, to activate those. It might be that you just need some mentoring and guidance around, how do I do this? Who am I connecting with? Lots of questions come up. But bottom line is that if you feel you'd like to, then that's because you're here to do that. And a little sprinkling on that is there are many, many more, because depending on who you're hanging around with in your family and communities, sometimes we think that this is really rare. But what I'm tapping into more and more through my own channel and the work that I'm doing, there are more people who channel and can connect to their guides, their teams. Some people are channeling the earth herself. Some people are channeling like nature. There's so many beings and energies to channel, and we do not have enough souls on this planet yet that does this. So we need more of us to be doing this. So if that's you, pay attention.
I love that. I love that. And for me, like, I remember setting that intention years ago. I was like, just like you said, when you're wondering how are others doing it, I'm like, how are they connecting to their guides? Like, you know, and like you said, really opening up that space, because it's also about free will, right, with them. So you need to really be like, okay, I'm ready. You know, you have to be ready, and then you have to communicate with them and be like, okay, you know what, I'm setting the intention to connect with you. And the messages will come through different ways. Like for me, I got, like you mentioned a book, I actually ended up finding a book and I read the entire book. It was about angels, and the angelic realm is like really here. Like for me, it's like a bang. And actually even recently, I've been getting more messages from them, the angelic realm in particular, like all around. I look, I'm like, the angelic realm, same message over and over again. And it may come in in different ways. So, yeah. But I also think sometimes it's for women, maybe sometimes why we may not have access to that is the witch one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the witch one, like that is huge. Like that is really, really, really huge. So, and the trauma, you know, around that, of course, that's another conversation.
Yeah, we can do that one. Yeah, that's a good one. We'll do that.
Yes, we'll definitely do that. Oh my God. So that trauma and really working around healing that witch wound, right? As somebody saying, speak. Yes, we're gonna have another conversation about the witch wound. Yeah, that is, it's so huge. And like you said, we need more people now, more souls, more than ever, to really come up and share their codes and share their light, right? To support humanity with all the shifts that are happening and taking place. It's like raising this, like we need an army of light beings of light coming together.
That's exactly what we are. I wrote that down the other day. Literally, that was like an army of light workers, because I've got this thing coming through I'm going to create like in the summer. It was like an army of light workers. That's what we're doing, like the new army, right? In the old days, in ancient times, it was like we'd go into battle with our spears and our swords and our, you know, in this era, it's light. We don't.
We're going to battle with light, love.
Yeah,
you know,
we don't create this world. We don't transform this world by using, like, we don't fight and we go into that violence, because we did that so many eras. Okay, that's over now. It's like we came in with a very different mission. So there's all this, and I know that there are a lot more. So just for any of you who just maybe feel a stirring, but you're not even sure if this makes any logical sense to you, there's a reason you're hearing this, because I'm always being told as well, there'll be many of you who are stepping into this and stepping into more. You'll be activated when, again, there's a timing to this. It could be a year from now, it could be a few years from now, it could be next week, right? Whenever. It will happen. And so trust it. Because a funny thing, years ago, I used to be always open to spirit and things. And I used to, just for those of you who don't know, I used to be a lawyer, like a completely different life, 9 to 5, and totally different life. And I used to read, the little spark inside of me was still there. And I used to read this magazine called Spirit and Destiny. And it was all around all the things I'm into now. And every time I used to read that magazine, anything that came up with angels, I used to just go, oh, and flick past it. It's really weird. I was open to everything for some reason. But any stories about angels, I don't know why that was, but it was like this kind of going, that's silly. That's like not even real. And I was like, flick it past. And it's funny, like fast forward a decade, here I am channeling the high angelic realm.
Channeling.
I love them. I'm with them every day now. And it's like, I just share that with you because just for those of you who might be still a little bit in that logical world, and that's okay if you are, because there's a process, but I just want to show you that, because you just don't know, like, you don't know what you'll be doing in 5 years time, 10 years time. Your life could be so different, because I'm a walking testament to that. Like, it couldn't be any more opposite to how I lived.
Yeah, I know, from a lawyer to this, it's so like, what?
Black and white, structured. Now I'm a channel. I'm out there for a lot of people, right? For people that don't understand it. So I just share that with you because you just don't know. So if you've got any spark inside of you that anything about what we're saying feels, there's a pull and you're battling, your mind's going, but not I can't do that. I just say stay open. Just stay open, because there's some stuff maybe coming your way that you did not plan. It's the most beautiful plot twist.
Yeah, I love that. And I was just saying that I already know that there's people in the life that I know really, really needed to hear this from you. Like this whole conversation, I may have shared it with them, but it's good. Sometimes people want to hear it from someone else, just to compare. And I love what Marcia is saying. She's saying she loves the point about having nature as the guide, connecting with the earth as the guide. And that is very beautiful. Also, something about nature is if anyone is listening and you're working with abundance itself, like using nature to remind you of the abundance that is around you. I feel like nature is so, like, it's just so amazing, right? Like, even connecting with it. The other day, I just got this download of, like, we are all so supported. And if you close your eyes for a moment and just see yourself walking, just taking one step and another step, like, there's that foundation, right? You're walking on this beautiful foundation. So if you're walking on a floor, that floor is still on the earth. If you're walking directly on the earth, you know, you're still walking on the earth. And just when you close your eyes and tap in and see yourself walking step by step, with each step you take, just feel yourself being fully supported, like the entire planet. Like you are literally walking on the earth. Like earth is so, like, it's just so beautiful. I mean, for me, when I do that, I'm like, wow, you
Yeah.
know,
You feel
it's like
steady as well, and you feel
steady, supported, and really connecting. And if you just like, it, sometimes I'm like, this is amazing. It's like, oh my God, I'm walking and I'm being held, you know? Like there's that grounding so strong, and imagine all the roots and everything, this planet Mother Earth, like the guys, like, wow, we are fully supported. So even when you have doubt of I can't see my angels or whatever, like each step you take, I think can support you in remembering that your guides are with you, because the earth, nature is with you. You are walking on it every single day and it's holding you up. You're not floating, you're not sinking. You know,
totally right.
so
Yeah, that's so true. And also, you know, just on that note, no, we don't all see as well. Or is sometimes people have an expectation, right? Like, oh, I don't see anything. I never see anything. With my guides, it's sometimes it's more challenging, because if you see, at least it might scare you at the beginning, but at least you would see it and you would know. But for those of us who are more clairsentient, claircognizance, you know, that's where you feel or you know, it requires some trust, right? So all these things, you know, connecting will help you, grounding into the earth, connecting to the earth, like just so you can just relax more in your body. So you're not like, we're not trying to do it all, right? It's like that's what we're trying to do. We're like these light workers that have come to help, and we're trying to carry everything. It's like, no, you've got divine Mother Earth. She's literally holding you.
just like,
Yeah.
I imagine, like, I'm handing it over to you. There you go, guys. There you go. You know, like, there you go.
Yeah. Over to you.
It's
Yeah.
like just hand it, yeah, you know, hand it to them. Any worries, any thoughts, any anxieties, any fears, name it, overload of stuff. It's like, guys, because that's their job. Like, that's their purpose. They're here to do that. They're here to support us, right?
Yeah, and just go back to soul contracts. We are, a lot of you, remember, you have missions. So I think the majority tuning in, it feels like, and especially on your platform as well as mine, you have missions. So your soul contract also includes people that you're going to meet, and also the mission that you came to bring. So just know that it's there. Yeah, and it's for you to step into, right? When you're ready. Hopefully now. I love that. Let's see.
Nice, nice. It's just reading this comment. The Army of Light has been called to taking post using their gifts and life purpose. The awakening is active and happening. Yes, it is.
Welcome, everybody.
It is. I know. Welcome, welcome, beautiful beings. And oh wait, a few mornings our daughter told me she saw a fairy in our bedroom. I loved it. Can you speak with how children can see easily? Yes, my daughter, our beautiful princess, like she'll say, like, you know, I'm just like, yeah, if she's saying fairies and she's saying that they are, because I know they exist. And the old me wouldn't have known that, but I know they exist, and the children can see everything. Like children are just like, you know, so yeah, that's really good if you can just speak on how
love
children
to speak about that, because first of all, on the fairies thing, very quickly, they are real. So I would have been like you, Izzy, like years ago, going fairies and elves and things. Now I absolutely know through my clients, because they've literally shown me with sessions when I channel, through my channeling and guidance. They're always saying, you know, what we would call mythical creatures here on the earth plane. They are not. They exist on the realms in different places. So we have this collective like memory of these. So, you know, fairies, unicorns, mermaids, all of these, dragons, all of these, and a lot of us are starting to channel some of those energies now. So we are bringing it all in to this world, which is wonderful. With children, yeah, they see other dimensions for a few reasons. First of all, if you imagine, they've not been on this earth plane for as long as us, so they are more connected to divine source, universe, of all there is, right? You look into a baby's eyes, who is so they've hardly been here, you
Mhm.
can literally see that pure love, you know, you can see it.
Yeah.
So our children are, we can learn so much from them because they are connected more. They also don't have all the programming because they haven't been
Mhm.
here as long. But the other beautiful thing that we want to share is there is a wave of higher consciousnesses now coming in through our children. So many of you will have, or will go on to have, starseed light worker children that come in. And the difference between them and us is because, first of all, they're coming into this earth plane and this frequency is already on the rise. So they don't have to come in into, I know it's heavy down here, but it's definitely on the rise. So they're coming into this higher frequency already. So they don't have to forget the way that we did when we came in. A lot of us are only awakening in our adult lives. And quite, you know, I was like 35 when I went inwards. Like I had the whole life before that where I didn't, right? And I was 40 when I opened my channel, right? So that was like, I had to wait for that. But our children, a lot of them are coming in, and I'm seeing that, and I love this. I'm seeing a lot of my clients, because obviously they're connected and aware. They're, most of the time, their children are, I always often confirm it, they are star seeds, they're higher consciousness, and they've come in to assist you. So not only are they here to be your family and your children, a lot of them are coming in to help you on your missions, and they're here on their missions. So the way that we parent our little ones is going to be very different. They will probably not fit in, I'll say most unlikely to not fit into the structures of school. So for any of you with maybe children who are slightly older who are struggling at school, have a look and see what they're saying and what they're sharing, because they are absolutely not designed to do that. They're here with a different energy, and I there's a lot of things I'd like to do around that in the future, because that fills me up around our children that are coming in. So your children are very wise, and ask them questions, and you know, get into the, even if you can't see what they see, you know, get into their reality, and they will probably share with you so much, because you're going to encourage them, and they won't shut that part of them down and hide it. So if you're open and your children are telling you, have these expansive conversations, it might blow you away with what actually they know. Ask them what they remember from before this life. Ask them what they tap into, like really expansive, and I love it. they're so divinely beautiful.
I love it. I love this because yeah, she's the person saying yes. So funny. I even asked her for her guidance in things, and she's yes. As you know, that's our daughter. So she's, and it's really a blessing, and it is so important as parents to support our children, because we've all been tried to be placed in this box, right? Like growing up, you know, things were different. But now as parents, if we've done the work, we've had to heal all that stuff. Like I personally had to do a lot of healing around anyway. So, well, Marie, you know that for sure. So, but it's very, very important as parents to support our children, because this is the coming generation. If our planet Earth is shifting, we really need to be supportive. And it's true, they're not going to fit in what we know as the regular school system. They just know, because they're not here for that, and they already know it. Like, it's just so obvious. They're just like, it's just right there. And to any parent who's out there, I think it's very key that, you know, listening to our little ones, because the way our grandparents and, you know, that past generation was raised was in this way, like, oh, if adults are talking, a child shouldn't speak. What do they know? They are young. But it's like, they may be, that's an old soul. You know, they're not just a child. Like, physically, yes, maybe they may be two, whatever, but like, it's a soul that is existing in that body, that has probably even wiser than us, the parents. So, you know,
they're more connected. We've been on this earth however many years, and they haven't. So my daughter, she's grown up now, she's at university, but when she was 2.5, really, really small. I remember I'd just given her a bath. I'd taken her out of the bath. She had a towel around her. I was just giving her a little cuddle, and we were just sitting down. And out of the blue, she just said, "I love you, mummy. I chose you to be my mummy." And she said it. She said, "I chose you." She was very definite. And I was like, "Yes, you did." And she remembered it, you know. And we've always had this connection since then, because I didn't shut that down with her. I was like, you know, what do you mean? I was fully open to that. So we used to talk. And, you know, we have that relationship now where she's very aware. She's like 20, how old is she? 23 now, oh my God. She's grown up. And she, you know, we meet and we talk, and, you know, we're very aware. We laugh at, like, we were laughing the other day about how it's great, isn't it? We chose to be mum and daughter in this life. It's really fun, isn't it? And we were laughing about it because we have this awareness, and she never forgot that. So when you just meet your child where they are, which all of you will do because you're all aware yourself, right? That's how we're going to, that's how this planet's going to shift, because all of these little ones coming up now, can you imagine what adults they're going to be? They're going to be our future leaders of the world. So we're going to shift this world in many, many ways. And one of them is our soul contracts with our children, which is so wonderful. Yeah.
Yes, someone is saying, I find the new children of this era older souls and already awakened. I couldn't believe the other day hearing a song from a 20-year-old mentioning in her lyrics, "Help me open my third eye." Yeah.
It's a
I know, right?
Yeah. So when you ever kind of look at the world and you start feeling like, oh my God, it's terrible, it's like, just breathe and know that it might look like that sometimes, but there are so many of us. And what I've been told many times is there's never been a time on this planet, apart from right at the beginning when we were in a higher frequency, there's never been a time on this planet where so many of us, light workers, starseeds, whatever you want to call yourselves, have been on this earth plane at the same time, all of us focusing on wanting to shift humanity, all of us focused in on the same mission. There has never been a more powerful time. So we're going to see it coming through in lyrics and books and documentaries and movies, and this whole movement's going to happen. It's going to take some time. But remember, more souls are coming in. They have soul contracts. So some of us will connect with them. It's big and it's happening. So just a reminder, because sometimes we can doubt, but don't doubt it. It's absolutely happening. We're doing it. I love it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So amazing. Just so that this is so powerful. Like, really is.
And we're all making an impact. Like, you don't have to be making an impact by even like doing what we're doing right now and speaking on a live stream. Your impact could look like this. Your impact could be it could be anything. Your impact could be working on yourself and anchoring in this light, and actually your presence here, it's making a massive difference. There's so many ways that you can be here making an impact. So just throw that in there in case you're doubting your significance. If you're listening to this, you are absolutely here for it. Right? So
yes, I'm so excited and really happy we got to do this. So I just wanted to share, I know you're having something this week. Is it this weekend? You're doing if you could just like talk more about that, if there are people that may be interested, or even later if they can reach out to you.
It's closed for that because it's tomorrow now. It's Friday today, isn't it already? So tomorrow it's an event I'm doing, channeling your success, but I'll probably do another one of those. So all that was like an afternoon where we're going to channel through clarity around your mission, do the energy activations, look at next steps. So I love that. I love doing all that kind of stuff. So I'll definitely be doing another one of those. That's tomorrow. But yeah, I'll probably be doing another one of those. Maybe, I don't know. I never say when. You know what I'm like. I'll just suddenly decide to do it. So yeah. But you'll see it on my page and things like that if you check it out. But that's coming up now. I got other ways as well to assist, depending on where you are and what you're feeling at the moment. Same as you, right? You've got lots of different ways of assisting people at different points.
Yes. Right now, I'm as I was mentioning earlier, I just created this activation to support people in really remembering who they truly are. It's a meditation with some light language activation in it that's going to support people in like connecting to their soul, their choices. So I'm doing that. I'll share the details. It's just one of those you can download and listen to it. And what I'm also offering is one-on-one private sessions with me. So energy cleaning sessions, energy cleanses, which I think is very important for us to maintain our energetic body. Sometimes people only focus on their physical body and they're like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym and work out and look good, or I'm going to eat healthy, do a cleanse. But it's like, okay, you're doing all that, but what about your energetic body? Because that's key. Like everything is energy and it starts with that. The reason why you may not be looking a certain way physically may have something to do with your energy, something in your energetic field that's manifesting in the physical field. So I do specific protocols to really cleanse the energetic field. And I'm also offering mentorships, so one-on-one mentorships for about 10 weeks, 10 to 12 weeks. Basically 10 to 12 sessions because, you know, depending on availability, we may do them once a week or twice a week, or, you know, depending on how one would like that to look like. So with that program, I'm basically teaching all the tools. I'm just getting all these tools that I have with me that I use for my clients and sharing them, which I think is even more powerful because we need more people to have these tools, this remembrance and igniting what already exists within them. So it's kind of like an activation at the same time to get people into stepping into their gifts, their power. And once they do that, they can keep spreading, you know, the knowledge, spreading the tools. And yeah, so that's what I'm offering now. And I'm excited to be doing this.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I'm so happy you're doing that. And this lady, Isabel, she walks her talk, just for any of you, and I'm sure a lot of you know that. But yeah, I just want to say you really do walk your talk. So, you know, you offer what you offer. You also, you know, you do so much. You're so devoted as well, you know, and I just want to share that. You're so devoted to your own development. It hasn't always been an easy ride on this journey, right? And it's like you've stayed the course, you've evolved, like you're absolutely glowing. I'm just so happy to see you doing this as well. And it's like, it's such a pleasure because I know that you really do, you are the real deal. So for any of you that are wanting to go into any of those sessions, like you're in good hands. I just want to say, because that means a lot to me to say that. So yeah, you're in good hands with Isabel, and yeah, definitely, yeah, to check her bio. And on my bio, I've just got so many different ways. I wouldn't want to go through. It sounds like a whole pitch of things because I've quite a few different things. So just head to the bio in Instagram on the link there, wherever this is, you'll see a description. You just check it out for yourself because there's a lot of different things. So yeah, we need like half an hour. But yeah, I'm always here to.
And you are amazing. You are amazing. You really supported me throughout. And like you said, you've seen how far I came. Remember, before I wouldn't even be here speaking. Yeah. You know? Remember when I was like trying, I'm like, I gotta express myself, and I'm just like hiding, and oh my god.
It's like, it feels like such a
lot of work.
Yeah, but now it's like when I'm flicking through Instagram, it's like, here she is, she's showing up, she's shining her light. I love it. It's my best thing, and that's what you came here for, right? So it's such an honor to see you, pleasure to see you just shining really brightly, and that good old throat chakra is getting a workout now. It's so good. It's a lot, and that's a good thing, isn't it, to say, because a lot of us have this throat chakra thing. Like I had such a visibility, my goodness, like it was one of the hardest things for me to overcome. I was like, I really love that subject as well, because it's so many of us, as you said, the witch wound, the persecution, we carry some of this. So sometimes to step into our soul contract and our mission, we've got to do a lot of clearing some of that, because that's been heavy energy, and I was definitely in that path. But just so you know, it's absolutely doable, because here we both are doing like an Instagram live, and there would have been a time that neither of us would have wanted to do anything like this whatsoever, right? So if we can, I really believe anyone can do some little throat chakra clearing and step into your power and confidence. Yes.
Nice. Definitely. Awesome. Well, it's been such an honor to have you on and to do this with you. And I'm really, really so grateful that you said yes to this and we did this. I would definitely love to do another one about the witch wound, because that's like really huge, especially for the beautiful ladies. Yeah, that's Yeah.
Let's sort that out. That's a good subject, isn't it, to get into? And yeah, okay. I would love to. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on here and for suggesting setting this up. I loved it. And thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. I wish you such a lovely day. I know UK time, it's past, maybe it's about 3, 4 p.m. now, almost 5 for
5 p.m. I
you.
think, something I can't see. Yeah. So Friday.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, enjoy your Friday evening. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Okay,
See you soon.
bye.
Bye.